Well, really the first thing you need to do is to actually identify where your spot welds are. And I'm kind of lucky here. I got one that's kind of showing up. You can see the little divot right there at the tip of my finger. And really the best way to find them is really to take the paint off, kind of sand them down a little bit. But really what you need to do is run your finger along here, and you'll feel any little divot is likely a spot weld. So first thing is you gotta identify them, and it's really easy. It's just use your finger and get down in there and find a little divot, and that way you know that's where a spot weld is. So let's move on to the next step. All right, and here's my little spot weld cutter. It's got a little kind of a guide pin right here on the end, but you can see that it's not it's really not that sharp. I mean, it used to be kind of sharp, but it's kind of worn down and it's kind of loose. I got mine at Harbor Freight. It was probably like $5. So for $5 you've got to get one of these things. But anyway, this little tip is actually spring loaded. So we push down on it, and you can see that it's spring loaded in there. But what you got to do to start with, you can, I've done it, to just put this little pin right there in that little divot of the spot weld. But when you actually start drilling, it can start to walk off like a lot of, it'll walk across your work if you've ever used an actual hole saw bit. So what you need to do is come in here with an 1/8 inch drill bit, drill yourself a little pilot area for that little tip to rest into, and then you don't have to drill all the way through. You just drill it down just to get it started, and then you can come in with your spot weld cutter, and that little pilot hole will help keep it centered. Alright, so now I'm going to show you kind of how we're going to do this. And I've got one little spot weld right in this area that needs to come out, and I've already got the little 1/8 inch drill bit chucked up in the drill. So now we're just going to get started. Let me try and determine exactly where the center is. So you don't need to drill much, just a little spot for the spot weld cutter, the tip of the spot weld cutter to rest into. Alright, so now I got the spot weld cutter installed. So you just center the tip right down that little hole you just made, and you start out pushing lightly. Drill speed kind of slow, and just a light pressure. There you go. And you saw how that separated? It's just that easy. Alright, and when you're done drilling them out, this is all you're really left with. You just got these little discs right here, and some of them are actually pretty weak. This one just came off as I was wire brushing, just using the old wire brush here to get some of this crud off. And this little piece just kind of fell off on its own, so that's good. But the rest of them are kind of on there, but that's no big deal. You just kind of come in here with your grinder, grind those down, and you're done. So hope this was informative and helpful, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.